Hey Lucy, it's Kenny for Triple Threat Western Radio.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing real good, and thank you for being on the show this evening.
Sure. Thanks for the invite.
All right. With that said, let's go ahead and get started. How did
Okay.
you get started in professional wrestling?
I got started in wrestling about November of 2008 was when I had my tryout with the Harley Race Academy. And I got to the tryout because I had been obsessed with wrestling growing up. And I had talked to the late Eddie Guerrero at a WWE event, and he told me that I should try it out just to see if I would like it. And I actually moved to Lawrence, Kansas to train at CSW with Michael Strider. And then their company closed their doors, and he's actually the one that sent me to Harley.
And what was that?
And you,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go
No,
ahead.
I'm sorry. I really didn't have much to say after, actually.
So, how did that feel to get hear from Eddie and wanting you to at least give it a shot?
Yeah, well, you know what? I was so obsessed with wrestling. I used to follow WWE. If they were within a 7-hour radius, I was at a show. And after a while, him and RVD were the ones that I would follow the most, and they started calling me Kansas because they knew I was from Kansas. And he's like, if you really like this, you should try it. There's not a whole lot of Latino women, that are in the business. And I was like, oh, no, I don't think I could handle it. And he's like, well, just, you never know. Just give it a shot, and if you don't like it, then at least you can say you tried it. And that was awesome. I thought it was really cool. And after he passed, I made it kind of like a mission to go for it and started looking up, schools around my area. And I was going to take some classes at KU, so I figured Lawrence, Kansas would be perfect since CSW was also there.
If only Eddie Guerrero was alive to this day to see what you have become and how you have blossomed into a professional wrestler. I mean, it must be a joy to go through this, and you're still doing this to this day. And I'm sure Eddie is with us every day, and we think of him and what he has done, what he has accomplished, and it must be a joy to do this, even though he's no longer there and he's unable to see what you have done.
Mhm. I think about it all the time, and it's like, I don't think it's. I had always thought about, wanting to do it, but I never really had the guts to. And I think it actually took his death to really push me to do it. Just, it's kind of one of those. I want to do it now more than ever because he's the one that told me to go for it, and so yeah, that really had an impact. But I I feel very blessed because I have done, not a whole lot of people can say that they fulfilled their childhood dream. And I can honestly tell you that every time I walk into that ring, I fulfill my dream every night.
How would you describe your wrestling style?
I'm very Americanized. And I know that sounds a little weird, but with being a Hispanic, I always get asked, why I'm not into the Mexican style of wrestling or, the high flying and all that stuff. And to be truthfully honest, I'm afraid of heights. But I think it's very technical, very old school.
All right, and now that I think about it, you definitely are onto something. There's not a whole lot of quote unquote Latino Hispanic women wrestlers out there. I guess the only one I can think off the top of my head is Mercedes Martinez. I'm not sure if she's Latino or Mexican, but I guess she fits that category.
Yeah, definitely. But there's not a whole lot of, especially in the Midwest. I couldn't tell you, around other areas, but here in the Midwest, me, Martinez, and myself, I don't really know of any other one.
And do you have any upcoming shows you'd like to promote?
I do. I will be in Moberly, Missouri this Saturday, the 25th. And September 14th, I will be in Chicago, Illinois for Resistance Pro. And then I have actually the dates here. Believe it's September on the weekends. But I will be doing a show in Iowa City for Rikishi, and that's going to be September 9th and September 16th in Iowa City, Iowa.
All right, everybody, if you are in the Midwest, be on the lookout for Lucy Mendez coming to a city near you. I ask this a lot to the guests out, to all the wrestlers I've interviewed. And from what they have told me, like almost 99% says heel. What type of character you like being the most? You like being the baby face or the heel?
Heel is definitely funner. It's a lot easier as well. I think it's a lot easier for people to hate you than for people to have people love you. But I personally love working the heel.
You know, it seems like the baby face maybe not as intriguing the way that the heel character is.
Yeah, I think that is true. For me personally, I like to go out there and be somebody else than myself. I like to, the moment that I'm in that ring, I become my character. And when you're a heel, it's so much easier. You get to yell and you get to do the things that you kind of wish you had the guts to do in real life, but you really don't because you're a nice person. So, but, it's kind of like a role play, so to speak.
Now that I think about it, yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Role play, people.
Yeah, you're role playing.
It's like you in the movie, you're in the character,
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, I first heard of you through another wrestler out of the Midwest who I interviewed, I think about a month ago. Her name is Miss Natural. So you have worked with her in the past. What's it like being in the ring with her?
She's pretty good to work with. She is, she's a veteran. She's been in the business, I think, about 10 plus years. So, you're going to be safe in the ring with her, obviously. And, she was also Harley, so we kind of go a little back. I can honestly tell you, with all the women that I've been in the ring with, I enjoy every single match that I have ever had, and I learn new things every match I have, and I'm very grateful for every match I have. You take something with you in every match.
Other than working with Miss Natural, who are some other female wrestlers you like being in the ring with?
I was recently at a Resistance show in the ring with a female that goes by the name Thunder Kitty, and she's out of Illinois, and I had a blast working with her. She was very, she does the whole 50s wrestler character, so it was just, she's a great heel. So it was so easy to work with her. Very, she, I believe, has been in the business about 7 years plus, and, obviously, that she knows her stuff, and we fit together really well. We had really good chemistry in the ring.
I interviewed Thunder Kitty about a month or two ago, and I like her as well. I'm a huge fan of her, and her attire, just taking it back to, to the day.
Yeah, to the 50s.
Yeah, taking it back to the, we're talking about before Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But, she's a true student of the game, and, it's another way of paying homage to those who came before you, so. I,
Exactly.
I
And,
definitely.
she does it very well. She fits that character very well. You see her in person, she looks like a pinup girl.
She's definitely got the
Very,
pin up girl appeal to her. Now that you think
she
about it.
does, she does. And, she's the nicest person, too. She was very, very humble, very friendly. Um, and, I don't think you get a whole lot of that in the business nowadays, but I had a great time working with her.
So I guess my next question is, what are some other goals you'd like to set for yourself? Women wrestling is starting to become more involved, more than ever. You got Shimmer, you got WSU, you now got Shine Wrestling down south. Uh,
Hmm.
what are some other goals you like to set for yourself as far as going to more shows or winning more championships, or maybe go to where Eddie Guerrero once was in the big leagues?
Big leagues. I think we all get into this business to be in the big leagues, and I wouldn't tell you that if WWE called today and offered me a contract, I would say no. I would definitely take it. Right as of right now, my goals are to stay with the two main companies that I work for, which is Metro Pro and Resistance Pro. Um, if I get offers to work for other shows, I'm sure going to take them. But right now I'm actually focusing on my career, going back to school and wanting to finish all that. So I'm kind of focusing on some personal stuff right now, but definitely I want to step up my game and keep working on it. And, once I'm done, I have just another semester to go. So as soon as that's over with, I'm going to be focused 110% back on wrestling.
What do you consider as the highlight of your wrestling career thus far? It could be someone you faced, it could be a show that you was a part of, or a championship you may have won. What do you consider as the highlight of your wrestling career thus far?
The highlight of my wrestling career was at a Harley race camp, which was just this last October. And then we had a show that same weekend, and I had Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as our agent for our match. And that was just the highlight of my life. I have always been a fan of Ricky since I was a little girl. So to have him sit there next to me and tell me what he wanted to see in the match and kind of give us some advice and, feedback and stuff like that. And then coming back after the match to the locker room, I had won the title previously, so I retained my title that night. But coming backstage and just having him there with his arms wide open, hugging you and telling you did a great job tonight was the highlight of my life.
Was it a bit nervous for you to be in shows like that when you have legends, icons, Hall of Famers out there watching you every move?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's nerve-wracking one because they're looking at you. That they're seeing scoping, and that if you make a mistake, of course they're the first ones to spot it out. So you don't want to mess up. You don't want to. One, you don't want to embarrass Harley because I came from his wrestling school, so anything that I do always is always going to come back on him. But it's it's a little nerve-wracking.
How can people learn more from you, get in touch with you social media wise, Facebook, Twitter, or any other links people need to know?
I am on Facebook, and I'm also on Twitter. And both of you just look for Mendez Lucy, all in small caps. You'll be able to find me.
All right, for those who just tuning in, you're listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. I'm joined with my first guest of the evening, Lucy Mendez. Be on the lookout for her on Resistance Pro, Metro Pro as well, out there in the Illinois and Missouri areas. If you are in both areas, check them out. Look for them on Facebook for more info. Go check out Lucy and support local indie pro wrestling. No doubt about it. Um, you not just being a wrestler, but a wrestling fan. Who do you consider your influences in your wrestling career?
In my wrestling career, I study a lot of Steamboat matches. I study a lot of Bret Hart matches. Those two men were my idols growing up. So I try to look for them, and lately I have been going to my Mexican roots. So I've been studying Los Gatos. I used to follow Mystico a whole lot when he was down in Mexico, but now that he became Sin Cara, it's kind of, I'm not going to say I don't like him as much, but I like his stuff in Mexico a whole lot better.
Understood. With Sin Cara, he's had a rough start to the WWE, and at least he's starting to get a lot better. But I mean, when you're going up against people twice your size, I guess you're not used to that. In Mexico, you face people the same size pretty much. Mm-hmm. But I guess
Well, yeah, and it's also people that know how to take your moves and everything, and with him being such a high flyer and doing so many, acrobatic things, it's kind of hard for people to keep up with him.
And the whole light heavyweight, cruiserweight type of wrestler, WWE don't really focus that much on it anymore. I mean, the only other high flyer, I guess, is Rey Mysterio and Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne. But you don't see them face each other that much.
You don't see them out, And I think that's a shame because they are excellent workers. But you don't see them very often. It's kind of the same thing that they're doing with the divas. You have decent couple workers there, but they never put them together.
And here we are, about a month since Monday Night Raw become a 3-hour show, and it's just what they say, some things change, but some things remain the same. And it's 3 hours. You should be able to give the female wrestlers a little bit more than 2-3 minutes. I mean, it's 3 freaking hours. I mean, it's either on the writers, it's either on the wrestlers themselves, or it's Vince. I don't know who to choose, but it's something they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out real quickly because you just can't take the Divas division seriously, which is why I'm more into the indie wrestlers on the indie circuit and Impact, because at least they give the woman the proper platform to not only give you good storylines, but good wrestling as well.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
Before I let you go, Lucy, I ask all guests to do this. It's like a station ID. It's like a voice drop. All you have to do is say your name. And what after you say your name, you say you are listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
My name is Lucy Mendez, and you are listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
I love it, and I love the enthusiasm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome.
Thank you so much for your time, Lucy. Best of success goes out to you. Do you have any final words and shout-outs?
I want to thank all the fans for coming out and supporting indie wrestling, and of course for supporting me. Y'all keep doing what you do. We're out here because of you.
And thank you everyone for listening, and thank you, Lucy, for being on. You have a good night.
Thank you so much for the invite, and you have a wonderful evening as well.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Lucy Mendez right here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. And in a matter of moments,